Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time we are looking at Alec's utopia and, well, honestly, his whole approach to social media.
Yeah, he's really fascinating. I mean, he's not just some influencer, right? Yeah. He's been around like forever, since the beginning.
He's seen it all.
Like the dawn of social media. Yeah, and now he's kind of using that experience to offer advice and insight.
Yeah, and it seems like he's really trying to help people find their footing in this world that's changing so fast.
Yeah, I mean, all this AI stuff, I mean, he's talking about that a lot. Also, just the erosion of trust in the media. A lot of really interesting stuff.
Well, let's get into some of that. One thing that really struck me was his emphasis on authenticity. I mean, he has that quote, "Every viral post I've written on X has one thing in common. It spoke directly to you. Not to an algorithm, not to a trend.
Yeah.
A person."
I think that's so powerful. Because we are just dominated by these algorithms now,
right,
and AI. So to hear somebody say, hey, you know what? Human connection still matters.
It's refreshing.
Yeah, it really is.
And that's really what he's saying, right? It's not just about churning out content. It's about connecting with real people.
Right. And I think that takes a certain willingness to be vulnerable, to be honest.
And maybe even a little bit controversial sometimes. I mean, because being liked is easy. Just tell everybody what they want to hear.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Building trust.
That's the hard part.
It's something else.
And he actually talks about that. He says, being trusted requires walking away from the echo chambers. Don't be afraid to disappoint the crowd in order to earn respect.
And that really gets to the heart of it. Like, how do we build trust? In a world where it seems like everybody has an agenda.
It is hard.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like, who can you really trust these days?
And I think what Utopia is saying is you got to be transparent. You got to have integrity. You got to be upfront about what your motivations are and be willing to, admit when you're wrong, stand up for what you believe in.
Even if it means going against the grain.
Right. Which is hard to do.
So hard.
Especially online.
Especially online.
Everybody's trying to, please everybody.
And it makes you think about influencer culture. So much of it is about this facade of perfection,
right,
and popularity.
Right.
And he's basically saying, screw that. Be real. Be vulnerable. And people will respect you.
And I think people are craving that. They're so tired of that superficiality.
Right. And they're tired of feeling inadequate because everybody is presenting this perfect image.
Yeah. It sets up this impossible standard.
Right.
And I think what Utopia is reminding us is those real connections are built on something much deeper.
It's about shared values, common interests, real empathy.
Exactly. It's not about the likes and followers.
Yeah, he's that great line about serving your audience. He says, this game isn't about you. It's about the people you're here to serve.
I love that quote. It's so simple, but so true. It's not about you. It's about providing value to other people.
And it makes you think about how to build a loyal community. It's not about manipulating people. It's about creating something of value, something that people actually need.
Right. Something that helps them in some way.
It's so different from how a lot of people approach social media.
It is. And it's a good reminder.
Okay. So he has all these great insights about authenticity and building community. But then he drops this bomb about AI.
Oh, yeah.
He says, don't kid yourself. There are no opportunities in AI.
Yeah.
You are simply here to train the machine, to replace you.
I mean, it's a little scary.
It's terrifying.
It is terrifying.
But I think he's trying to wake people up.
Yeah. He's not sugarcoating it.
He's not sugarcoating it at all.
He's saying, hey, the world is changing and you need to adapt.
Or else
and you're going to be left behind.
And he's not just talking about jobs.
Right.
He's talking about everything. Like our whole way of life.
Yeah, he is. And I think it's easy
to
kind of dismiss that, but it's happening.
It is happening.
It's happening all around us. And I think that's where his message about adaptability comes in. He's saying, you got to be able to learn and evolve. And you got to be able to embrace new challenges.
You can't just keep doing the same thing.
No, you can't. The world is changing too fast for that.
He even says this, AI isn't just a tool. It's a system learning to replace you. There is no getting ahead in AI, and it will only get easier to use. Stop chasing the tech. Focus on your vision.
You know what I think is so interesting about that? He's saying it's not enough to just have technical skills.
Right.
You got to be creative. You got to be strategic. You got to have the human skills.
Because the machines Can't do that.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet.
So that's where our advantage is.
Right. And it's not all doom and gloom with him.
Oh, no.
Like, he does see opportunity.
Especially for storytellers.
He says, the future belongs to storytellers.
And I think that's really interesting because it means that, even in this world, where AI is doing so much, we still need that human connection. We still need those stories that move us, that inspire us, that challenge us.
So it's not just about mastering the technology.
No.
It's about honing our ability to communicate, to connect, to persuade, to create narratives.
And those are skills that will always be valuable.
No matter what happens with AI.
No matter what.
Wow. There's a lot to unpack here.
I know.
We're just getting started.
I know, right? Alex Utopia. He gives us a lot to think about.
He does. And it's all really important stuff. So let's take a deeper dive into some of these ideas.
Okay. Sounds good to me. He really does give us a lot to think about. You know, one thing that strikes me is how he brings all this together, like the authenticity and the service and even AI into this like worldview, you know?
Yeah, he's got like a whole philosophy.
He does. And it's not all sunshine and roses either.
No.
He's not afraid to say like, hey, things are messed up.
Yeah, and remember that quote about the abandoned ruins? We are surrounded by the abandoned ruins of a dead civilization. Simply going through the motions. We can't continue like this, but we have to move towards something.
I mean, that's a little apocalyptic, isn't it?
It's a little dark.
Yeah, but I think that's part of what makes him so compelling.
He's not afraid to shake things up.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
He's trying to get people to think differently, to question their assumptions.
So he's not just offering advice.
Right.
He's like issuing a challenge.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
A call to action.
And I think a lot of people are responding to that.
Because they're looking for some kind of direction.
Yeah, they're looking for meaning in a world that often feels meaningless.
And he's saying, don't look for answers from the outside.
Right.
Look within yourself.
Find your passion, find your purpose, find your tribe, and then go out and build something.
And I think that's really empowering.
It is.